Dzień dobry and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2016 ITTF World Tour Polish Open, a major series on the World Tour. I'm Adam Bobrow, your commentator, and coming up now is the women's singles final. That's Mengyu of Singapore and her opponent, HIRANO from Japan. Now, this is a very unexpected final. We're looking at the 16th seed, Mengyu, on the other side, an 11th seed right there, HIRANO, playing in the finals, so they made it to the top two. Our umpires for this match, Ludmila Graznova from Russia, and from Poland, it's Christian Chichon, our assistant umpire. So you know there must have been many upsets with Mengyu, HIRANO playing in the finals, both having an incredible tournament. Now head-to-head, these two have played on 2 occasions. Mengyu has won both of those head-to-heads. It was 4-2 earlier this year in the Qatar Open and 4-0 in 2013. Here's a little look at the quarterfinals on for both of these players. Mengyu taking down top seed Kasumi Ishikawa in the last round, and HIRANO taking down Li Jiao. Very impressive feat, I would say, for HIRANO. And I really like the future of Japanese table tennis for the women's side, men's as well. But as many know, the women's program is incredibly popular. From Mima Ito and HIRANO to Kasumi Ishikawa, and starting with Ai Fukuhara, arguably single-handedly responsible for the growth and popularity of table tennis in Japan. Ai Fukuhara has a statue in Tokyo. I don't know how many other table tennis players have statues in their home countries. The nation was watching Ai Fukuhara when she was a crying 5-year-old, all the way up through playing professionally. She captured the hearts of the nation. And not just her nation, she became quite popular in China as well and around the world. And now the focus for many young professionals like HIRANO with their own personal private coaches and practice partners is to be the best possible players that they can to compete with the top Chinese players in the world. Japan has been the #2 team behind China for some time now. And the real question is, I say 2020, the Olympics in Tokyo. We've got Rio coming up. It would be a surprise to everybody if Japan was really able to be a big threat to China. But with all the youngsters like HIRANO and Mima Ito, and even Kasumi Ishikawa, only 23 years old right now, they all have to continue improving to keep up with the new crop of top players in China. But as far as the match right here, Mengyu, 26 years old, is world rank number 23 and has been so on point in her game. Very spinny shots from both sides, very quick and fluid. From the flat hitting shots to the quick pace, she covers her ground well, still has short strokes, solid anticipation, very consistent game. Relatively conventional in the sense that she's not mixing it up too much with side spin. HIRANO, on the other hand, well, before this tournament, I would have told you is known for her consistency. It's a pretty standard game. Has really added a lot of variety to her game, from heavy spin, slightly slower shots to backhand receives with side spin. Her variation of serve, you saw in the last round in the semifinal from HIRANO, caused a lot of trouble to opponents. HIRANO, again, taking down Mima Ito earlier this tournament, along with Natalia Partika, the Ask a Pro Anything player for the Polish Open. And in the first round, taking down one of France's players, Louiette. But after Mima Ito was Hitomi Sato, chopper from Japan. And as you know, Li Jiao. So I'm very curious to see how this goes for both of these players to have a title on the World Tour. In singles, for women's singles, will be a very new thing. Something refreshing, something to mix it up and show that the rest of the world is still in danger. So Mengyu of Singapore is going to start off this best-of-7 final with the serve. Love all. Break off the edge. No question about it for Hirano. But you can already see that Mengyu is well calibrated to countering the heavy topspin. Hirano caused some trouble in Li Jiao earlier with that same heavy topspin. Outstanding effort, playing the corners side to side. Hirano taking it off the bounce, covering the wide forehand. And still Mengyu, quick to cover as well. Keeps the racket head up. Not a lot of backswing at all. Left up high for the finisher. The service, again, you look at a lot of different players. As far as creativity goes, the service is one of the most varied parts of the game. Players are even told when they're getting competitive, try something different. And of course, if you have any few serves that look similar in their delivery, but come in with different rotation, different placement, can make them very effective. Look at the kick on that ball, takes it right off the bounce, puts a little bit of side spin on it as it jumps away from Mengyu's forehand. So much work. It's the wingspan of Mengyu to reach out and get a few of these back. Hirano trying to play the angles, playing some excellent shots as well. The heavy spin jumps up and out. You might remember the first two games against Li Jiao were absolutely dominant from Hirano. Following that, some trouble. The next game was 11-3 for Li Jiao. When Hirano takes control out here, it's pretty tough to stop right now. Playing down the line again, this is a strategy. Getting the player to step around, move body weight a little to the backhand corner, turn on the middle, and then play down the line. Take some real confidence from Mengyu. Ooh, could it be nerves? Rare to see a racket dropped, especially after a point like that. I talked earlier about the positivity. When in Japan at Sendai for the Women's World Cup at the end of last year, there was something that went out in the brochure, the program for fans, about only being positive when you play, positive reinforcement, and you can see that very much in all the Japanese women's players. But occasionally you'll see frustration expressed and then quickly back into the positive head shakes, turning it into preparing to move forward. The deep push right at the baseline of the table into the body. We're seeing a lot of versatility from the young Japanese players. Miyu Hirano, Miyu Kato, Ima Ito as well. Some leftover side spin. Hirano introducing it early. Well, it feels like Hirano's been in control for the majority of this game. Yu Mengyu's right behind her. 1 point down. Yu Mengyu on the receive. A bending ball from the backhand, covering the middle and taking it out wide to Yu Mengyu's forehand for the point. It's a very difficult shot to keep down and hit so precisely wide. Once again, the side spin on the backhand receive. Hirano now with 3 game points. Just anything to mix it up, not allow a player to get into rhythm. Yu Mengyu now second serve. Saves a game point, and it's Hirano now with 2 serves of her own if she needs them both. And Hirano always seems to be on top of getting the towel break. An important time for her to regather her thoughts. Why not take advantage? It's there for you to use. Trying to stay persistent with the inside-out forehand deep into the backhand, but that's 2 in a row game points saved by Yu Mengyu. The soft shot middle to middle goes long. 3 in a row as Yu Mengyu ties it up. This is time to really regather composure for Hirano. It can be tough after losing 3 game points to feel a bit defeated and deflated. But instead, changing the placement on the table and the backhand spin shots. Last ball left a little out in front of Yu Mengyu. So another opportunity for Hirano here. And the opening is there. The serve earns the 3rd ball, and Miyu Hirano takes it 12-10 to go up 1-0 in the women's singles final. We'll be back for Game 2 watching the Polish Open. Stay right here.
拉，你一倒的时候它一下来，就是还有长的手部的，人人相似的跟第二种都是对，改短和看出和中间变化还是有效的，然后它拉都比较轻，你的注意引起来。
We're back for game 2. Mengyu Hirano leading 1-0 over Mengyu in red at the top of the screen. Now again, it's the 11th seed serving to the 16th seed. Some of the top players in the world were here and didn't make it this far. Inside out forehand for a winner. Some of those top players, just so you know, Kasumi Ishikawa, world ranked number 4. Ai Fukuhara, Feng Tianwei, Mima Ito, Han Ying, Sehyo Wan, Patricia Solya. No one has done as well as these two women right here. Strong receive deep to the middle of the table from Mengyu. And that's a leftover side spin from that receive. From time to time, your side spin comes back to haunt you. It's actually tougher to keep track of when your opponent keeps it on the table. Deep on the table, and you could hear it. Support for Mengyu, Piaoliang. It's a beautiful shot. Power on the forehand side. Really feel like Mengyu Hirano's developed in so many ways, from service to creativity and power on both sides. Her shot selection is getting much smarter too. I feel like she's tougher to predict out here. Fine balance of patience but aggression. Again, first one to the towel. This brushing backhand here with some side spin left on it. Still some side spin on the ball for the last counter. Now Mengyu up 4-2 with the serve. In the backhand-to-backhand counter game, Mengyu getting her strength in. Again, talked about her build and her racket speed, how fast her hand is, how flexible her wrist is. Now, with all that talk about Mengyu Hirano's power, when pushed off the table with some of these higher balls, she looks much more powerless, but still places the ball well on the table, leaves it out in front of Mengyu. But from over the table, strong enough in the flip kill. We've seen many forehand flip kills from the semifinals on from Mengyu Hirano. Has the opening, comes blitzing the table for that backhand down the line. Mengyu Hirano taking the high ball on the backhand side. Good opportunity to close in. High backhand attacks are some of the most difficult, especially from off the table. So up 2 points at the second towel break. Mengyu Hirano right there. Hirano now with the serve. The timing seemed a little bit off for Hirano. And at the table, coming back deep to the backhand. Even the soft flip, the placement into the body. Mengyu preparing to stick her arm out to the forehand side to counter. And it really only takes a 2-point lead to cross the finish line. Mengyu keeps chasing, but hasn't been able to really even things up. Perfect length. Half long just barely coming off the table. We've got 3 game points for Mengyu Hirano to go up 2-0, just like in the semifinals. Crisp backhand from over the table. Mengyu saves a game point. Now, if memory serves, it was the same score last game. 3 game points for Mengyu Hirano before Mengyu took 3 in a row. When Mengyu Hirano's game starts to become a little more predictable, you see Mengyu in the right spot at the right time. Again, the patterns opening up the cross-court shot there. Mengyu Hirano's going to have to break the pattern, hit a surprising shot. And that's one way to do it, fast and long with some side spin. Receive could not be used better, and Mengyu Hirano with a 2-0 lead over Mengyu will be back for game 3 just after this.
对，它发不上力，你下一步就压过去。你要一退，你再一撩过去，对吧？你要中间一个，它这个调一个，它反正有，它这个反手也要轻压，这也要轻压，它有个调也是轻压，你怎么着？这个短一点，你要不行你再给长点对面，好不好？你就摆不住，刚好半球点嘛。
We're back for game 3. Mengyu Hirano in blue with the yellow collar over Mengyu of Singapore in red. The 16-year-old right there. Believes it's her serve to start off. So whoever's serving in game 1 should be serving in game 3. There's been some confusion on the screen as well, so it does make it a little tougher. And even the coaches are discussing. Pretty unusual to see players not agreeing on this. Usually they can turn to someone who remembers accurately. There is a truth here. This isn't a question of opinion or a question of memory or accurate markings by the people who keep track. So Mengyu starting off game 3 with the serve. Hear a loud reaction from the audience. One person in particular. The net ball coming down and Mengyu takes the point. It's always interesting when someone's quite sure and someone else is quite sure of the exact opposite, because one person ends up often being slightly embarrassed later, admitting, my bad, apologies, I was wrong. Always tough to be too sure of yourself. But at the same time, if you intentionally took the serve in the beginning, or if you're Mengyu and you turned down the serve at the coin toss so that you could be serving at 9-9 in the 7th, that is an intentional decision. Wouldn't want to lose that. Hirano's still in control out here. And she's much lighter on her feet, quick to make the turns. For many people, many table tennis fans, you've seen Mengyu Hirano playing in doubles over the last 2 or 3 years, a lot more than you have in singles. Seen her in a lot more finals as a doubles player. Heavy spin deep and wide from Mengyu to take her second point. And even below the net, a little bit below the table on the forehand side. Still a quality shot with some angle on it. When you get that close up to a hand before a point, you can really see if it's shaking or not. You have to wonder, if you zoom in enough, if Every hand is shaking on some level. How much of that is nerve, tension in the muscles? Nerve doesn't seem to be hurting Mengyu Hirano right now as she leads 5-2 with their second serve. Now from the camera's angle up here, it's a bit different than what the players are experiencing down there. Ball might look high to the forehand. You can see Mengyu Hirano turning the racket straight up to the ceiling to keep the ball low near the net. Both players testing out their turn. From backhand to turning the middle to take a forehand. I was just thinking about how fast the women's game is and how important short strokes are, even if it is a forehand. A lot of it comes down to making a decision quickly, recognizing what's coming at you. Right off the bounce, fast topspin shot, Mengyu. Yeah, that's what I have to do. You can see you're starting to settle in. With that serve coming around the outside. The inside-out serve from Mengyu Hirano. It's been causing trouble for her opponents all the way to this point in the tournament. Outstanding effort again, Mengyu just a step ahead. She's getting to the ball early, or as early as possible, but making quality shots to keep Mengyu Hirano moving. Seemed like Mengyu Hirano thought it might come back cross court one more time. Strong flip to the middle, gets Mengyu standing upright and exploits the open forehand. That's how you do it. Very smart play from the 16-year-old Mengyu Hirano. Quality backhands, quick to cover. And even though Mengyu has the longer wingspan here, covers side to side a little faster, the quality of the backhands from Hirano really keeping the pressure on. You could see how low and dart-like that shot was, but still with spin. It's technique for a quality loop drive. She's earning the opportunities. Anytime she can get Mengyu a step behind and chasing, taking the next one quickly off the bounce. But Mengyu's shots low, deep on the table, making it tougher to play the angles for Mengyu Hirano. Very wristy shot on the backhand side for Mengyu. Well played right off the bounce. A timeout called. It's Mengyu Hirano's side. Coach Rei Nakazawa, originally from China. This does tend to be the trend. Many nations around the world, from practice partners to national team players to coaches, going to the country that's dominated the sport the last few decades. And I think the fact that we're seeing some doors open in many ways from China, sharing secrets, wisdom, and whatnot, good for the players, good for the sport. And it's a combination for Mengyu HIRANO. The notes and talking to the coach, sometimes visualizing really helps. When you look at your own handwriting, and I think anyone cleaning out a drawer before a move or doing a massive room clean knows what it's like to find old homework. To remember where you were when you wrote it, remember your intentions. Really brings you right back to that moment in time sometimes. Coach Chun Jabin, new Singaporean coach. I think late last year was brought on. Somewhere between middle and late 2015. So now a 1-point game, Mengyu. A second serve and a chance to tie it up. The spinny backhand comes up a little bit, but overwhelms Mengyu's counterattack, and we've got 2 game points for Mengyu HIRANO. Very high arcing, and fortunately for Mengyu HIRANO, deep enough on the table. But what would a towel break be if it were wasted? Just long on the counterattack. A deep topspin serve, though. That kicking serve didn't cause any trouble. Many other players have popped it up. Mengyu reads it well and counters it back to the short side of the table at that. One game point left for Mengyu HIRANO. This is not the first time we've seen this happen. Game 1 as well. 3 game points to Mengyu HIRANO that were saved by Mengyu. But HIRANO regathered herself, managed to take the game. And despite all the service change from placement and focus, HIRANO finds herself here at deuce. Left just a little bit high, but Mengyu can't connect. This is a good angle to see the height of the ball. I think that shot's Mengyu's a good 75% of the time. Game point back to Mengyu HIRANO. And it's the tuck and rip backhand. Mengyu HIRANO, after several shots in this counter rally, manages to hang on to the game once again to take it 12 points to 10. And we'll be back. It's a 3-0 lead for Mengyu HIRANO. Could be the last game, game 4, just after this. Stay right here. The players come back for game 4. A yellow card given to Coach Chun Jabin, maybe for ignoring the time when time is called. Understandable that your player's down 0-3. Want to have as many words as you can to make sure they come out here well prepared to come back. So Mengyu Hirano leading 3-0, starting off game 4 with the serve. Ooh, shot to the neck, straight for the jugular. Obviously unintentional, catching the edge of the racket. Backhand to backhand, Mengyu Hirano's back in it. First point this game. It's been a while since we've seen Mengyu get her forehand in for a real turn on the ball. A few rushed shots from the middle. Tends to be to her advantage when she can make that happen. And that ball just a little bit too decisively a forehand. Made for a quick decision for Mengyu, but not quite rushed. Still enough time to put a quality shot out. Again, you've got infinite variations of spin on any serve. So whether it's straight side, slight top, a little bit more top, heavy top, Mengyu Hirano varies it up very well on that reverse serve. Smart play from Hirano, keeping it deep in the backhand. Many players would be tempted to go out to the forehand side, but it's a low percentage shot with all that spin on it, playing the length of the table here. Sees Mengyu anticipating a ball down the line. And a timeout to Mengyu. After Hirano takes control, turns things around a bit. Just trying to think back through the long serves that we've seen. Again, probably about 80% of the serves you see at the professional level are half long. Certain players serve long a little bit more often. A softly spoken man, Chun Jabin. Seems like a bit more conversation between the two. Dima at the umpire's table having his timeout as well. Sorry, the tournament referee, that is. Mengyu Hirano has been a master of mixing it up so far. Between her slow spinny shots, change of placement at the last moment, and service received. Time is called and neither player seems to hear. A yellow card was already given. Are we going to see a second yellow card? A hand going to the jacket for the head umpire. But as both players seemed unaware, they both came back at the same time. It was to no one's advantage, as far as we know. Very faint let, both of the players acknowledged early on. Soft touch in near the net again, Mengyu HIRANO keeping the flip away. Or I guess inviting a flip that's a little out of the comfort zone for Mengyu. You could see how stretched out the feet are of Mengyu. Late decision, changed her mind to go for the flip over the table. So close, we're looking at centimeters away from that back corner. I feel like the facial expressions of Mengyu HIRANO have changed over the last year or so. Always looked like she was on the verge of smiling before at any given moment. Right now, changed a bit. The focus is a bit more intense. Looking a little bit more like a warrior out here. It's what 16 to do can do to 15. Graduate middle school, move on to high school, things start to get real. So 2 in a row for Mengyu. And both of these players have very spinny shots. Mengyu with the low trajectory, I think is going to make it very difficult for HIRANO to counter. But this is HIRANO in the driver's seat from the receive on. Serve and receive. First 2 shots of the rally, the most important. I guess you could say the last shot of the rally is the most important. But outside of that, at least setting up the point. Back edge of the table, a bit of fortune. We've seen that high arcing backhand, though, from HIRANO, just loaded with spin. Even if that comes down, where HIRANO's standing, I mean, where Mengyu is standing, it's going to be very difficult to counter. Trying to cover and block it back. And the break continues. HIRANO starting to run ahead in the business end of game 4. Oh, the top edge, a little fortune comes back. And the flip has been so strong from HIRANO. I almost can't remember a forehand flip that she's missed this match. No question about the top edge there, the point for Mengyu. And a safer counter. The balance, HIRANO just a little bit upright on that last shot. I think one thing a lot of people don't appreciate about being a professional table tennis player is how important balance is. Keeping the body weight forward, staying centered and able to move any direction at any moment. So fast, world-class backhands here. This is the new Mengyu HIRANO. Now remember, Mengyu HIRANO has played twice against Mengyu, and both of those have gone to Mengyu. Mengyu HIRANO has never beaten Mengyu on a world tour. Inside out forehand follows up a very spinny ball low to the net. And we've got 3 championship points for the 16-year-old Mengyu HIRANO. All the hard work and training could come out to equal a title early on in 2016 for the 16-year-old. She's had this score before, lost 3 in a row. We'll see what happens here. And the forehand does it. Mengyu HIRANO is the champion of a major series here in Poland, the Polish Open Women's Singles Champion, 16-year-old world rank number 19, the 11th seed in this tournament, Mengyu HIRANO of Japan. Congratulations to this young and focused player. Finally a chance to relax after an incredible tournament. And the smiles come out. Coach Nakazawa right there to congratulate the big smiles of Mengyu HIRANO, stepping out of the shadows of Mima Ito after beating Mima Ito earlier this tournament, taking a title on her own, not in doubles. Mengyu HIRANO will be standing at the top of the podium just a bit later. Stick around, we've got the awards ceremony with all of our winners and runners-up from all of our events here at the Polish Open. Stay with us, we'll see you in just a bit.
Zapraszamy wszystkich do obejrzenia gier parlamentarzystów i aktorów. Będą pokazane na